A little bit earlier today, a little bit different setting, all kinds of different things. We have a special guest with us today, former guest on the show, Robert Jackson. How's it going, Robert?
Doing great, doing great. It's been a while.
It has. I feel like a lot has changed since you were last on. Former prolific Ember contributor, now MCP aficionado. Do you want to give a little bit of intro into what you're into these days?
Yeah. So these days I work at over at Glean, mostly working on providing and producing right now MCP server setup for our customers and digging into MCP, all things MCP, lots of AI related stuff is so far as how it intersects with MCP. Right now, my focus mostly is on MCP server side of things, less so on the client and authoring a client, although that is a thing that is on our roadmap in general. The I think there's lots of other side quests from there. Things like making the APIs make more sense to LLMs, which has a lovely side effect of also actually making sense to humans. So it's nice when those two things align. It always reminded me of accessibility stuff, where it turns out making your website navigable by keyboard just makes a better experience. It doesn't matter if it has to do with accessibility or not; it's just better. Same with theming and stuff. Anyway, sorry, tangent there, but I guess that's what I'm up to these days.
Cool, cool. And I should also mention we have a guest host, Typecraft. Chuck is working on moving to Italy and wants me to get a bunch of guest hosts because he doesn't want to deal with it. So we're doing that. But yeah, let's introduce the whiskey today.
Let's go.
We've got some.
Hold on.
It's a surprise guest.
Oh, look at this.
Okay, I can see you guys can't handle this.
Wow, this is amazing.
Hold on here. I don't know what you picked or what's going on. Robert, good to see you.
Hello.
Are you responsible for this?
I don't know. Robbie did it all.
Indirectly,
Okay.
Because he said, I think you said you hadn't had a Japanese whiskey.
Yeah,
right?
correct. Never
So,
have.
wanted
Never have.
to-
It's been on my list in general. Lots of scotches, lots of bourbons, and all that jazz, but never a Japanese.
Well, this is the only thing I'm good at, so I need to help you guys out here at least a little bit. Ohishi whiskey with a indiscernible proof to it. I have no idea. Oh wait, no. Let's see here.
there's notes.
42.7. Yeah.
Okay.
It said question
It's Chuck's
mark.
first
Proof.
time. Oh,
Proof.
you're right.
Question mark.
I meant to come fill that back in.
Okay.
Also, can you guys see us, or are we super blurry?
I see you
You're
just
not
fine.
blurry.
You
Yeah,
might be
okay.
a little blurry, but
Yeah,
I mean,
It seems like it's not focused on
An
us, but
appropriate amount
whatever.
of blur.
You get what you get.
Okay, it's 42.7% alcohol by volume. Can you do the math on that? Let me know real quick. 30%. So the mash bill is 30% estate grown rice called. Nope, not pronouncing
It's
that.
Gohai Yakumanishi.
Yeah, sure. 70% mochi rice. The grains are partially malted and then distilled on the traditional Japanese stills before being filled into ex-sherry and brandy casks and aged for a long time.
In high altitude warehouses.
Yeah, that's very specific. That's the most Japanese shit I've ever seen.
I know,
which probably
right?
means it's going to be really cool. Yeah,
Very
so let's
intense.
get to it.
So the box looks beautiful.
The box
Yeah,
is
it's
cool.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Like,
love
Yeah,
the
we were
bottle,
supposed to
too.
get a better one that was 10 years old. This one is not.
yeah, it's not age stated, but
This
we were
episode
like,
is not sponsored by Fruit Bat, who cannot send you the right whiskey.
Oh no.
fruit wines. FROOT bet. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I'm so
All right,
sweaty.
guys, I have a question really quick before we get into it.
Yes.
I pre-filled my glass with ice. Are we upset about this, or is that okay?
Well, I mean, if you don't ever get invited back to replace me while I don't want to do this, then you might know why.
You'll know what happened.
Yeah, just
I'm just one of these low-class kind of masshole people. You know, I just don't know.
So I did bring a thermos with ice just in case I wanted ice.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
so. I think Robert's doing it right, and it's this way: is that if you're trying something the first time, I think you should give it a chance in its raw form. beyond that, you should have it your way. Essentially,
Okay.
is that
I
a
also
Burger King?
pre-filled my
Should
cup with
straddle this
Diet
table.
Coke. Is that all right?
What?
Should straddle the table.
Oh,
so you can get
I
the
don't-
microphone
I
really
don't-
in your face.
Robert was listening. Robert's the only one listening to me.
Oh, were you
it's great.
talking?
I know he's still doing production work here. Hey, we're live, buddy. We just got to make it work.
know,
It
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
matter
I'm
what
sorry.
I'm straddling. That's
Oh,
your
we
business.
also probably didn't change the names of everything that we're streaming because you just click the button. So it's saying we're live with whatever the last thing was.
Error.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's appropriate. Error 500. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So Typecraft, you were saying.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, it was a joke. The moment's passed. I said I also pre-filled my cup with Diet Coke, but I didn't actually.
Oh.
Illusions.
Which I learned today.
That might be bad.
Yeah.
There's a peer-reviewed paper out that I actually came across today saying that replacing water intake with diet soda is not known to make your health either better or worse. It has not been proven in a controlled group to make your health better or
Well,
worse.
are we
So
going
it's
to be
okay.
the first to prove or disprove?
Yeah, we could be.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like,
All right. No. Let's
Yeah.
give this
Yeah.
a smell.
from
Definitely
Triangle
has a
Dot Ice.
little.
I'm just gonna do this.
Just do whatever you want. I'm smelling it
Amazing.
first.
Oh,
Committed.
Ishi.
It's a little white grape juice for me.
Yeah, I'm smelling that too.
Yeah.
It smells like they only use 70% mochi rice to me.
Boing.
I'm getting
Mochi
about
is an interesting
65%.
thing.
I don't know. I think their math's off.
I was one of those people for a little while that didn't realize that mochi was a dessert offered without ice cream in the center. I'd only had it at like nice restaurants where it was like an ice cream dessert. And then once I was at a Japanese grocery with some folks who were more familiar, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to get some mochis for dessert?" Like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Get back to the office and get the mochis tossed into the table, and I'm like, no, red bean paste. No, I'm not into that. What are the other flavors? Grab a different flavor, not realizing that red bean paste isn't all of them. They just had other flavors with that or straight bean paste, and I was like, what the hell is this? Where's the ice cream? So, anyway,
If it makes you feel any better, I just learned that mochi was not a dessert filled with ice cream just this very moment.
But you didn't have to eat it with, all the red chilies.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I did not.
Okay, so
No beans.
I don't know how we categorize this because
Japanese?
no, I know, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's not very like it's not Scotch style like a lot of Japanese.
One
would
second.
be.
1 second. We're talking
okay.
about tasting notes and some things here, but yeah, I mean, what is a blend or whatever else? Hold on. Typecraft, can you tell the people what our rating scale is?
The rating scale is based on an octopus, which, if you remember, has 8 legs, but we start with 0. So this is a 9-legged octopus starting from 0 to 8. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, the logic checks. Yeah, PR approved.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I just thought that.
So
would
it's
be-
possible to get a 0? And have we decided if 0 octopus legs is optimal or the worst?
Yeah, that's true. See, there's a whole segment you missed.
Yes. Okay. So 0 is the worst. 8 is the best. 4 is middle of the road.
Okay.
So like if you like it but you're not super impressed with it, 4 or 5 is reasonable. That's not a bad rating. Who should go first? We'll make Chuck go first.
Hold on a sec. I'm just throwing that out there as we were taking some tastes and everything else. Are there any other flavor profiles anyone is picking up on?
I'm getting a hint of apricot.
Okay, dried or fresh?
Definitely dried.
Okay,
Definitely dried apricot.
yeah. Robert, any?
I'm enjoying it.
Okay,
No,
It's good.
I think it's to me sweeter than you would have like a the Scotch. Closer to a bourbon in sweetness to me than like on the Scotch side. But it's not overly sweet, I guess.
Yeah, it almost has like a little bit of sour or tartness at its finish. Very light for me. Definitely much sweeter than a normal Japanese whiskey. No like smoky flavors.
Yeah.
Maybe like slightly
It's very
mossy.
different in that it has flavor at all. Japanese whiskey tends to be just water, which is like kind of an impressive feat because to have zero flavor profile, zero burn, and be like 80 or 90 proof is like you did some good
That's in
work.
card.
It's very
But
clean, you know.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I could rate this. It is the most unique Japanese whiskey that I've had because a lot of them I do feel tend to follow like very Scotch-like profiles. And I know this is a rice whiskey, so that's obviously a difference there rather than a malted whiskey. So it's interesting. In a way, I almost kind of compare it to sake, but higher proof, a little more burn around that. But I'm getting like similarities to different sakes with like fruit notes and tart notes and things like that, which maybe that's indicative of rice whiskeys. And I'm not an expert there. So it's completely unique. It's hard for me to baseline it against something else, but I am enjoying it. I do think it's like kind of refreshing. It's got a little burn. It's unique and different. I don't know. I'm going to go 6.5 in its own unique category of rice whiskey, which I just don't know enough about, but it's good.
That seems great. Just quick question, clarifying question on the rating scale. Now, when you get a half, do you cut the octopus leg in half? There's no joints, so where do you?
This is
Is
true.
it- is it-
Okay.
what do you do with the other half?
You can just proportion out as
You eat
much
it.
as you want. We didn't say. So it's
grilled.
0 is horrible, spit this out, dump it down the drain immediately. 4, even though not technically the middle of the road, being like not bad, not great. You know, it's just it's fine, it's drinkable. And then 8 is clear the shelves. I want every time I see this, I want as many as possible. Octopi do regenerate, so 9 legs are possible. I just
Whoa.
want to put that out there.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
So anything can happen here. Yeah. So I went first. I get to call on the next victim, and that is Christopher Typecraft.
How dare you use
I just
my-
doxed you.
Yeah. I was thinking of the scene in 30 Rock, one of my favorite shows, where Alec Baldwin's character, when Liz Lemon talks to him and calls him Jack, right, in front of a bunch of executives, he turns around and goes, "How dare you use my Christian name in front of these gentlemen?" In my mind, I was going to go like, "How dare you use my Christian name?" But I feel like I had to preface
Preface
that
it.
one.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Yeah,
but
just
I
go
appreciate
into
the
it.
context.
Yeah, don't use my Christian name. So yeah, no, anyone can call me Chris. I don't mind. You didn't dox me or anything. I like being Chris. But okay, so I like this a lot. It's interesting. It tastes more, if this makes any sense whatsoever. It tastes like there's less flavor in it than other whiskeys. Like it tastes almost more like bland in a way, but it is easy to drink and it like has a little bit of burn, but also is smooth at the same time. So I like it a lot too. I'd give it 6, solid 6.
all right. Which Robert should go? You want to pick who goes? Type?
Okay, I will pick. I will say Robert Jackson.
Right,
That
yeah,
was the right
so
answer.
Here's the thing. I want to use that half of octopus arm that was left on the floor here. I'm gonna go with 6.5 as well. I could go up to 7. I really like it actually. I glanced at the box again and I realized that I think some of the flavor that I was picking up is from that brandy cask as well. So I think that's some of that depth I think is coming from there. And turns out I like it when you age it in brandy. So brandy casks. So yeah, I quite like it. I normally shy away from, I mentioned before, like the bourbon level sweetness. I find bourbon to be too sweet. I think this is like just a right balance. And while I love drinking smoked burning tires, most of the people that I'm around really hate it when that smell happens. So, so it has the nice side effect of being allowed in the home, I think, at this point. So I'm going to go with 6.5 to 7, I guess.
All right.
Commit. Pressure's on.
6.75.
Thank you.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay, there
that's
we go.
good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good too. It's definitely one that is approachable for I think for everyone. One of the better Japanese ones I've had, I think, just because the others don't really have much flavor. Um, yeah, rating it against other Japanese ones, I'm gonna say 7.
Nice.
All right, so I spent minutes worth of time trying to come up with some hot takes for for us here. But this, since you're into MCP and AI things, Robert, GPT-5 or Claude Sonnet 4?
For what task?
You decide.
Who's the host now?
Okay. Good question. I still mostly use the various Claudes. So I know you specifically asked about Sonnet. I tend to not just go with a single model most of the time. I'll use Opus for 1 for like planning stages of stuff, and then go down to Sonnet for like implementation stuff, and I think it does a pretty good job there. But that's work stuff. When talking about home stuff and personal stuff, GPT-5 is great. I think it's pretty good. There are some rough edges, especially at launch, like early launch day and the day after, where you get wild results, like stuff like I was just bonkers. But I was probably scaling stuff. It's probably resource constraints, stuff like that. I'm just guessing. But since then, in the last couple of 4 days, 3 days, whatever it's not been out that long. It's been great. The thinking mode. They also have an auto mode, which is great in the web UI, where you don't have to decide ahead of time whether you want thinking or non-thinking. And I think that is also a nice UI touch. I don't think it changes anything about the actual models or the result, but it makes the experience of decision fatigue a little bit better. I also think that it made sense what they did with regards to shaking out some of the older models. Like I was walking my wife through getting set up. She's, how do you use it? How do you think about it? Should you trust it? That kind of stuff. And like one of the things that constantly trips her up and other folks is, well, which model should I pick? Good freaking luck. Like, 4.1,
It
4.0.
depends.
03 mini, like, oh my gosh, there was so many to choose from, and now they really simplified that in the ChatGPT.com web UI, and I think that makes a lot of sense for like your average consumer. On the code side and for work, I don't think that is the right choice, because I think different models for different tasks is appropriate, especially given that different ones cost different amounts, and sometimes one of the mini models is just fine. Especially if you just have a really simple, mini prompt kind of situation. Anyways, that was a really long yada yada for a simple question. I think the long and short is for code stuff, Claude, Opus for planning, coding with Sonnet. Most of my personal stuff goes through GPT-5 now, and I'm pretty happy with it.
I have a follow-up.
I also have a
around
follow-up.
interface. Oh, what's your show? I'm not even supposed to be
Yeah,
here.
this guest here. Yeah, so in terms of coding, like how good have you found it at doing the things you actually needed to do? Is it about tuning your prompts and your like giving it the right info to get to the right answer, or is it like your mileage may vary? Because I've had a lot of trouble with it getting the actual result. Like it'll get close enough that I, as a programmer, know how to fix it. But like,
Yep.
but how have your results been?
Yeah, no. So this is a good point. So I have been doing programming related activities for 27 years or something. So long damn time. I think that the experience for basically the point is I know when it goes wrong. I can look at the diff. I have made my career to some extent on a PR review and understand how to review code that I didn't necessarily write, that kind of stuff. Not being able, all the work that I did in the Ember space, like for a lot of that stuff, you can't keep the entire mental model in your head the whole time. So you have to know how to bootstrap and understand how do I read this? How do I validate this diff and whatever? So I think, my point is, my position is almost certainly biased. I think that there's a lot of different techniques in getting the prompt right, forcing it through planning mode so that you can like just iterate on the plan. And what I tend to do is do that, tell it to write the plan to a Markdown file, kill that context, and bootstrap again from the Markdown file. Often I'll plan with Opus and I'll switch to implementation with Sonnet, but I'll have all the breadcrumbs in a Markdown file where, and I'll have it mark off the steps. I think Cursor actually does this. I don't tend to use Cursor, but Cursor tends to do this a little bit on its own without telling it a lot to do it. But Claude Code does a pretty good job of like maintaining the list of steps and whatnot in the it's not UI, I guess, the terminal UI, I guess. And I think that works well. I think the other thing is, don't be afraid to tell it to go back and start over, or always, every time you go a turn, like every time so I use Jujutsu JJ as a sort of a Git front end, I guess is the way to think about it. And I have a snapshot of the code every time I go back and forth to the prompt. So, if it goes off the rails, so what? Like, I can reset it really trivially. It's no different with Git. You just have to manually commit every time. Whereas if you use, depending on your integration, you can get auto snapshotting with JJ. So I think that helps a lot with sort of CYA sort of stuff. I still tend to push my changes up to GitHub and look at the review in a draft or something as well. And like I review it like I would review someone else's PRs in the same way. And then oftentimes I'll just give it the link to the PR review and say, go fix these things. It does a pretty good job. So I think basically it's a combination of initial prompt, making sure it has the right context, validating the plan that it comes up with, ideally in like a plan mode where it's not even trying to make changes. I hate it when you're fighting with it. No, don't make changes yet. Plan. I hate that. That's really annoys the dickens out of me. So get that plan to where you like it. I personally like just emitting the plan and then using that to bootstrap again. Also because it helps if you end up coming back to a session and need to have context of what the point of the changes were, because you can look at the diff, but it doesn't know the why. And if you explain the why in the prompt, it actually helps a little bit.
That's really interesting. You write things down to a series of Markdown files. I feel like I found myself falling into the same pattern of coming up with a plan, being like, oh, this plan's huge, write this to a Markdown file. And then I don't know if this has happened to you before, but I say this while it's in planning mode, and then Claude Code would be like, oh no, this is planning mode. I'm not writing anything for you. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes, correct. It's very frustrating.
It made me laugh
Yes.
even earlier today. But I always kind of wondered to myself, like, is there something is there a pattern that's been established yet that's a little more efficient than just like writing things to Markdown files, and then when you open a new session, say, hey, by the way, read this Markdown file for reference? Or is that just like sort of just the easiest thing to do? I mean, I like it. It's pretty easy, but I wonder if there was something like a little bit more to it.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's my go-to still. I do have some Claude MD like user, like in my HomeDir stuff that sets up a /plan to run a plan, like /plan01. We'll go find plan numbered 01, that kind of stuff. Just like little simple shortcuts, because like I know where the files are, but typing the path out is annoying. And like, sure, I'm a programmer, I'm lazy, right?
Yeah.
So just like plan 01 or load the plan or whatever, or I'll exit plan mode when I've planned and then have it just /plan/ space save or something. Like I'll just make those little mini simple prompt things. The other thing is my go-to is Claude Code. I haven't tried the Cursor CLI just yet, but I am intrigued by it. I gotta install. I gotta put it through its paces a little bit, and I've been a bit under the gun with actually shipping. So playing around with random tools hasn't been my bag of the last couple of weeks since it came out. But all that to say, I'm a terminal guy. I run terminal neovim,
Hell yeah.
tmux, the whole shtick.
Love
so having the Claude Code pipeline in running in a NeoVim terminal inside a TMUX session is my jam. And what I do there is I have a little shortcut that launches Claude Code in a NeoVim tab in a terminal with like a 20% split of the markdown file that I've already told it where it is. So I don't have to do any of the work. Like I just have the markdown plan on the left, the Claude instance on the right, and makes it really easy. Also, I can edit that prompt as I'm doing the prompt. I can edit that in my preferred editor. It doesn't matter if it's NeoVim. Like you could do this same thing with VS Code or,
it
or
matters.
Cursor or any of them.
Just ask Typecraft.
It does matter.
You
And
you
chose
almost got the
correctly.
entire bingo card. Are you also running Arch? Because if so, then
No, Mac OS. Yeah.
Oh, well, you need to get a framework computer.
Good enough.
yeah.
And what is it?
Hold on, I'm on the waiting list for the desktop. The desktop framework is amazing looking.
Robert,
It does look cool.
I just got one in the mail. And
Oh my
I
God.
have not put it together yet, but I'm so excited. Oh,
Make sure you buy it with code Typecraft.
Yeah.
So how is the desktop different than just a desktop though? Like, because the whole thing with the framework laptop is like a laptop that you can move parts around or whatever. But like
Here's
you
the
can
thing, it's
already
like a
move all the
desktop,
parts
but
on a desktop.
modular.
Yeah, but you can already change all your parts on the desktop.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look like a gaming computer. The problem with
It
like
looks
every
cool? That's what it
tower
has
looks
going
like
for
a
it?
gaming computer. It does look
Okay,
cool, and it's
okay.
like more mini ATX, isn't it?
It's very small.
It's tiny.
Yeah. So-
You can put it in a backpack, like a regular, not a giant Mondo backpack, a regular backpack.
Be careful. Robbie's used to hearing that all the time. It's very small.
Yes, I'm triggered by that.
Small backpack club. I get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
The reason I was excited about the desktop thing is specifically basically the AI capability stuff that just looks out of this world. So super layman's terms, I haven't dug into. I looked into this whenever it came out, and I was excited about it. The processor essentially, as far as I can tell, uses something akin to the unified memory architecture that the Macs have. So you can get a crap ton of RAM that you can use with the GPU, and you can load much larger local models. Which personally, that's what I want. I want to run very large, like 70B or more local models. And then like especially like I take notes, I'll record locally, not like through the internet, but like locally record meetings, and I just want to run the transcriptions and use those for indexing and like reminding me of the tasks that I have to do. And I don't want to rely on services for all that stuff. But even on an average MacBook Pro with I think mine has 48 gigs of RAM, I can't get the large enough model that I want. So having this, having like Olama set up on the framework desktop, running, I'm getting it for my son, by the way, but he's not here most of the time. So that means I get to run what I want to on it. And that's the beauty of parenthood. So anyways, that's what I want. That's why I'm excited about it.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
Nice.
excited too. I think it's really interesting what they're doing with the desktop, and yeah, I'm excited to try it out. It literally just came in the mail, and yeah, I'm excited to put it together, put it through its paces, see what we get.
We're pivoting. This is an unboxing episode.
It could
Yeah,
be.
we'll wait.
I do have something I will show you guys. It's very interesting. It's cool. I'll be back though. Speak amongst yourselves. Wait, here's a topic. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Discuss.
And they also have very bad roads.
Yeah, and it's
Mm.
spelled RHODE. Did you know that? That's a
I
different
did. Yeah, I
thing.
live here.
Yeah.
But the
I think he knew
the-
that.
until very recently, it was the smallest state with the longest name. But they changed the official name a couple of years back, 2-3 years back, something like that, not too long ago.
Do tell.
What did they?
It
change to?
was Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, and they dropped all the rest of the stuff.
Oh,
So now it's just
Wow.
Rhode Island.
The plantation.
That didn't age well.
Did you? I was going to
Yeah,
say
correct.
what plantation has a negative connotation from what I've heard.
Yes, that's
being-
correct.
Being
If
from
you work
Kentucky,
the fields
I-
yourself, it's
yeah.
fine.
I haven't heard that.
I mean, the worst thing is when you drive south in Kentucky and you'll see some old block wall, or not block, but rock wall set up, and they're colloquially known as slave walls.
Okay, I was
did
waiting
not
for
know.
what you were going to say.
Colloquially,
rough.
that's hard
Yeah.
to say.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Colloquial.
I think if you have another drink, it'd be easier.
Yes,
I think it would be actually.
You
Thank
are the keeper of
That's
the
the only
bottle
reason
there.
why I'm here.
you have the
check
bottle.
this out.
Oh, I'm not even supposed to be here.
Okay,
That's
so
what
while
comes in.
oh wait, what is? Oh, okay.
So it's
Are we
not-
unboxing?
No,
No,
It's
not
a
gonna
box.
I want to show you one thing
you're
though.
still in hot takes. Are you kidding me?
that I thought was cool. This is a hot take.
Okay, hot take. Computers
Hot
are
take.
cool.
Our framework desktop's cool.
Hot take. Typecraft's on DHH payroll.
Yeah. DHH is he's fun. I like him
If
a lot.
you get to check out the race car, if you get to go to a race, then you're on the payroll.
Is there a passenger seat in the race car?
There shouldn't be.
I know there
F1?
shouldn't be.
Yeah, I
but-
don't
No.
believe there are. F1 racers are in the middle and they've got the whole thing.
Okay.
Have you ever seen these things?
Yes.
Did you see the movie?
No. I
Yeah.
didn't.
So
I did.
framework, right?
Yeah,
As we
so
know, comes
Le
with
Mans is that thing, and they're all in the middle.
the desktop has these tiles, right? And you can customize them. And so for us, they made, oh, it's not going to zoom up on it. Shoot. This is
You gotta
Typecraft.
get your face out of the way.
This is a Typecraft logo. I don't know if that's even going to work.
Oh yeah, for us. So you've kind of
Oh,
moved
no,
away from
no, you're right, it's
Typecraft
not.
being you, and Typecraft is more of like your brand, your company.
No, it's always been the two of us, me and
Someone?
not one of the two Roberts in here, but me and Robert.
Oh gosh.
He was a friend and colleague.
Number
of
one name
mine.
since 1920.
Yeah. No, we go way back, but yeah. But no, it's always been us. That's from the start. But yeah, this podcast isn't about me. So
It could be.
But yeah, it can be.
that's that was cool. This the framework people sent us this stuff with all these logos. This is an Arch logo. Damn, oh yeah, this one looks pretty good. That's
It's so
Arch.
good.
And this one is one of our little keyboard logos that we have. You can't really see it, but it's cool. They're cool.
All right, we've spent way
Did you
too
give
long.
them the assets?
I give them
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The assets for the printed, or
Yeah, we just gave
That's
them
great.
PNGs. They just threw them on there. It was
that's
nice.
amazing.
Damn
That's
it,
amazing.
guys! This is a
Yeah.
serious podcast.
I know. What are we
I
thinking?
lived for a few
Okay.
weeks, and it really
Yeah,
devolves.
I was just gonna say we've spent way too long on we've done the first hot take, and the rest aren't that hot. So fuck it. Let's just go on to the next stuff.
Hell yeah.
All right. So I want to talk about open source. So you had I don't remember what the final number was. I don't know if you remember, Robert. What was your streak on GitHub before they got rid of streaks?
It was a long time. Like a long time.
Like,
1,000 days.
I
Something
thought
that?
it was
Yeah,
like
a long time.
multiple thousands, but I
All
don't
of your-
know.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was all
I don't know, and they don't display it anymore. So you can back calculate it because they still have the little tile things. Now they show you many, like you can pick the years. But yeah, it was a very long time.
Yes. So, all right. So obviously you're an expert at open source. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the effect open source can have on your career. Do you think it directly influences anything with regards to like getting hired places or, getting promotions or, just being thought of as, a good developer, I guess?
So for me, yes, like a sample size of 1, there's no way that I would be where I am now without having been in the right place at the right time in the right random IRC channel, meeting the right person, like meeting the right person. Like that just would never have happened. But also that is a very unusual combination of events, right? Like it's a bit like when my kids say they want to grow up and be YouTubers. Sure, you could do that. That's great. It's totally a career. It totally is. But the percentage of actual people that actually end up being able to make a living on that is not as large as you might think, as it might seem, because that's what your world is close to. Lots of YouTubers, right? Or baseball players or football players. Just pick a thing. Like it's not just about YouTube. But the point is, there's some amount of luck and some other factors involved. So I think that's part of it. I think that regardless of the connection part, the knowledge that I gained from doing open source is probably even more powerful and more valuable than the people part. Although I think the people part was very, very important and very valuable. Those connections got me jobs, those connections, those people are my friends. And like that's great. Like the really durable, true friendships over time. But learning how to think about problems is something I learned from open source. Like you see at a long time at LinkedIn, you see a lot of people that start at LinkedIn, only ever worked at LinkedIn, and like they look at problems a different way. Not all of them, but it's very easy to fall into that trap of, well, like learned helplessness, I guess, where well, I guess this is just the way it is, or I can just accept this experience or that experience or whatever because it's owned by some other team. This is just a normal big co sort of problem. And it's not about LinkedIn, but it's just a big co sort of thing where there's so many different silos of all the stuff. And being exposed and doing open source for so long, like you have to have a very low bar for rough edges, or sorry, a high bar. I don't know, whichever one's the good way. And, you know, a rough edge, any sort of roadmap or stumbling block or whatever on onboarding or ramping or using the thing you're building, whether it's a web page or a CLI or whatever, that impediment has to be fixed, and you just have to have zero tolerance for that kind of stuff. And anyways, that's I guess my thought.
No, I think that's a really good point, especially the bar, wherever it may be, low or high. Having a high standard of the code you make in open
Or low
source.
standard.
Yeah, it makes sense because you're not just building it. It's not a pet project just for yourself or for like just a couple people or whatever. It's like it's for like the public, right? It's open. So that bar does have to be high in order for it to be accepted by like the wide public of people who want to consume that thing.
It also forces you to think about the edges of the system, like libraries specifically, not so much public sites, because websites, obviously the interface is the UI, right? But for libraries, which is where a lot of open source is, you have to understand what's the boundary conditions, like what's the beginning, what's the end, where do you live? Like, are you just building everything on the kitchen sink? Are you building a very niche specific thing? You have a specific mental model, and where your thing starts and where the other thing stops. And that really helps when you're architecting systems at any job, right? Understand, like, not because you're going to say no to a feature request or something, but understanding how to build those interfaces means that now you know how to couple the pieces. Now you can test at the interface layers instead of mock the world or which don't get me started, but I hate that. Like I would much rather you provide me a test, I guess test mock for the entry point and the exit points, and then like make it so that I can use your library, not have to worry about how it works, or let's say it's some LLM thing or whatever, not have to worry about, well, how do I set up my CI to actually hit the LLM and all that stuff, because that doesn't matter to how I'm using your library. I want to be able to trust that the library does what it says on the tin. If it doesn't, I'll find the bugs, I'll fix it or whatever. But like having an idea of how to think in terms of those boundary conditions and when a thing should live in this layer versus that layer, that's all stuff you get by thinking in terms of these things, and you can get that in just regular company sort of environments, but the default sort of mental model I don't see being that. I see that as, well, it doesn't matter, let's just throw it in here, we can fix it later, which is also fine. Like there is a point to intentionally choosing tech debt here. Like sometimes you have to make that choice, and that's okay. But making the choice by not realizing you made a choice, that's what's not okay.
I feel like you created 3 additional checkpoints here, but I wanted to regress back to one of the previous ones around like open source being like a good training model for other environments. And I would say that like probably an additional lucky point in your journey was that you were in a very well-organized open source community though too, because you can get involved in all kinds of open source projects that will give you good experience and many of the other aspects of it. But I think like dealing with a particular type of open source organization in that also probably set you up with dealing with other organizations and kind of seeing like, I have a bit of a panacea of like what has worked very successfully in like in that software engineering career paths require a certain amount of soft skills that aren't easily developed. And I think that the environment that you had in that sense also developed soft skills to make those things at least get the answers you're looking for.
100%. Yeah. I mean, a decent amount of software engineering is sales, right? Like you may not think about it that way. You've got to, especially in open source, you got to convince the maintainers that they want the thing you're trying to give them, and that you're not just giving them an open source puppy, where they've got to walk it and feed it and clean it up.
Or that you're
over
smarter
time.
than they are, and that's why they need
Exactly.
to. Yeah, you're dummies, and
Exactly.
I've got some Funyuns, and take my stuff so I can go back
Correct.
in my hole. Like that is a different kind of mentality that I think people gloss over a lot.
Yep, 100%. And it only helps in your regular business life to be respectful and don't assume you're the smartest person in the room, because honestly, you're probably not. And at least that is my personal perspective all the time, because it doesn't do any good to think you're the smartest. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but it doesn't do any good to think that. It also leaves your mind open to accepting ideas from other people. Anyways, I think that's a great point.
Okay. Sorry, just trying to move us along. So I do want to another AI related sort of thing here. Do you think frameworks will still be relevant in 10 years, or will AI generated code just make that kind of irrelevant? It'll just generate all of the stuff you need to do whatever, and you don't like need a framework.
Don't know. I think I know what I want the answer to be. But I don't know what it actually will be. Like, it's too hard to see. I want the answer to be that the reason, a thing I had mentioned before, which is I think the reason LLMs can be so successful is because they can leverage libraries and frameworks and things like that, and they aren't the ones doing authoring, at least not right now. The very bespoke, like DOM manipulation stuff that you might have to do for a web framework, or the special bit twiddling you might have to do for different server side environments. And they can rely on the fact that, like, the Go standard library has built-ins for all the things, and just rely on the fact that that works, as an example. But if they are authoring all of that, I think that it becomes way harder. Like, first of all, the amount of total code that you now, like, talk about open source puppies, like, this is worse than that, right? Like, the LLM has generated this giant pile of stuff that literally you are incapable of reasoning about without some sort of framework. So I think even if we leave the realm of the sort of Rails, I guess, which is to me a pinnacle of frameworks. I guess we're talking about DHH here, but I used that whatever a long time, 15, 20 years, I don't know, a long time ago. And ever since the blog in 5 minutes video went crazy. And I think being able to leverage those things makes a huge difference. But even if those aren't authored by humans, I think having the LM author shared use patterns like that, like having internal frameworks, is still a useful thing to guide it towards. And it does not do it naturally. It doesn't want to do that. Sorry, I'm making it seem like it has a mental mind of its own. It does not
feel like it most days.
Yeah, it wants you to think that it thinks on its own, but it does not. The point that I'm making is, like, it just wants to throw code at the wall, and a lot of times it'll get to the end zone. That's great, especially if you can describe the test conditions you want it to validate. But the result might be an unmaintainable mess, and without some sort of frameworks, whether it be human authored or machine authored, that part doesn't matter.
There's sorry, I didn't talk for a second, then I had to clear my throat. So there's this it's an interesting philosophical question around, like, how far can LLMs sort of build out their own sort of rule sets for things that they can make and develop, and like keep things within certain expectations. But I think there's another sort of point of this where I don't think LLMs in the long term can be creative in the way that humans are creative, right? You mentioned DHH's blog post in 15 minutes with Ruby on Rails. That actually jump-started my whole, like, career. And I don't think that that was like a fresh idea given certain tools that were available at the time. And I feel like if LLMs take over, or any kind of, like, AI it takes over more and more and more of the actual code generation, it will reuse more and more and more of its previous code generation, and everything will just kind of get a little bit flattened out. You know, there won't be any creativity. There won't be any of these sparks of like, oh, this is a new thing. This is really interesting. Maybe we should think about doing things in this way. It sort of just will revert back to what it knows. And again, that's kind of a funny term, like knows, right? But it will revert back to the patterns that it's used before, and will kind of just sort of, everything will sort of flatten out and sort of be the same. I feel that's kind of like if I were to think of things like through the lens of like thinking long term, everything just gets kind of flattened out. You won't have that sort of peak of like sort of creativity that opens up a new idea for something that's a little bit different, right? Also, I think you used the term bit twiddling, and that was one of my favorite things I've ever heard. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's true. However, I think that the power that an LLM can, let me say this differently. I think that the power that can be wielded by someone that's properly motivated and has the idea or the imagination, the power of the LM to be wielded by that person can take you 10x what DHH did with their Rails in 5 minutes thing. But I think that requires the person to bring that to the thing, that person to have the light bulb moment or whatever. But here's the thing. How many times have you gone to the barbershop and I tell them I sell life insurance now, but if you tell them you're a software developer, they say, oh, I have this app idea. Mm-hmm. Well, like, cool story. That's great. The thing is, I develop software for a living. The ideas are the hard part. The code is the easy part to me. It's the ideas that are the hard part. So having the idea is the hard part. So like now those people are enabled to build incredible things that they never could have built before. The whole vibe coding thing. Now maybe it ends up being a giant pile, house of cards that just collapses or something. And like that sucks. But also enabling the imagination to then try to be fulfilled. I think those are the things that I think are really empowering, personally.
Yeah, I wonder. My biggest worry is that with the rise of more and more AI assisted technologies, like I feel very powerful with Claude Code, with these tools, because I am an experienced software engineer. I've done a bunch of different projects. I've worked at a lot of different companies. I have a lot of different ideas how things should go. I think in the future, though, the people who maybe might be just starting out in software engineering, who sort of learned through coding with LLMs, might not have the kind of insight into how these sort of systems work together in order to come up with like these ideas that might change something, right? They might just sort of take things as they are and sort of just accept like what an LLM might give them, as opposed to being like, well, hang on a second, what if we did it this way? And then that's how you get like, and I feel like, again, like the way I kind of feel about it is like, I feel like I can produce a lot more being a senior level engineer, but newer developers, I feel like, are kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage moving forward. And so that kind of worries me a little bit. I feel like that whole thing kind of is a little bit of a worry in my mind.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think though so anytime there's a paradigm shift, which I think this for sure is, there is a gap in time where the way you learn hasn't caught up. I think that it is totally true that new engineers today can do more than they could have done 5 years ago or 6 years ago because of AI. But that sets them, I totally agree with you, that sets them up for this weird artificial plateau where they don't have a way to bridge the gap from being a good basic engineer to becoming a senior engineer, because they haven't been forced to think about the architectural problems or the things that, like I was describing before, like systems thinking and thinking about pieces, interfaces, and all that stuff. But I do think that is teachable. That is a thing that we can teach to people, like we do. There are classes, like college exists. For now.
No, I was just gonna say that.
Hot takes, back to hot takes, huh? So I think that can be taught. I think also we can get better at tailored LLM, either models or agentic workflows that force the LLM into a more architectural mental model as well. Like you don't see it much right now, but I do think that it is possible. But I totally agree that right now we have to do something to remove that future disadvantage for new engineers. Clearly that needs to exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say like the entry point isn't removed, it's just changed. I think that like the traditional way of getting the experience and knowledge is it's going to have to catch up to the new tools we have, and that's moving quite quick. And so
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the goalpost has moved, it has just shifted dynamically, you know.
Yeah, I also think that because it's still in what seems like an acceleration phase, it's going to be a little while for the sort of the teaching and the way we educate to catch up to how it works. Like we're only recently seeing studies around how do people think when they are exposed to LLMs and when they can rely on them. Like I think there's a lot more science that has to be done here. Like, both science and also like education and education research and figuring that stuff out. And the problem is, from my perspective, I don't know who's going to do that research because where all the money is not terribly interested in pointing out that their LMs are flawed. So there's a thing that has to be done there.
They're not flawed. They're perfect.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
and I'll continue to
They're
tell
not
them that.
flawed,
And
you're flawed.
yes,
You're flawed.
as Claude will tell me all the time, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point though. There's a lot of money in hyping up LLMs. There's no money in studying them and understanding like what are the best ways to use them moving forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And they have to be like way too confident because
Yes.
if it was like, I'm not sure about the answer. Let me think some more. Let me like give you a maybe answer you could try. Then why would people throw money at that? Like it's got to be really confident.
I also like the literal technology. Like, I mean, it is effectively autocomplete. I mean, it's not exactly that, but basically, right? So, there in the end, there's ways to layer on confidence scores and all that jazz, which is great. But it's gonna say something every time you ask it anything. It's going to answer somewhat, and 90+% of the time, it's going to answer with confidence. Like this is the thing I tell my kids who are like they're 16 to 17. They're like interacting with AIs now as part of like just they like just Google search results and stuff like that. Like when do you trust it? When do you not? Like how do you validate? And how things like software is very different than things like English or mechanics, because like with mechanics, someone could die. Turns out most software that I work on, at least, isn't going to kill someone. And hopefully, and
Get
like
off the dark web, Robert. Get off.
You-
Stop
you-
doing dark web work.
you can make tests. You can I know whether code is verifiably correct or not. Basically, is the point. If you haven't read your English paper or something, it could just be making crap up. If you have it give you some schematic for some machine, it could just it will make stuff up.
Do your
Um,
high
and-
school age kids try to get like mechanics, like blueprints for mechanics?
I mean, they do CAD like in school, right?
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm like,
and
I'm
shop
very
and,
interested
like,
on that.
machine-
Like, how much are they using it
Yeah.
in their
Rhode
education?
Island school system.
Yeah.
Like
They have a neat school. Like the school has different their local high school, public high school has pathways for like engineering, biomed stuff, and they have tailored classes. At the end of high school, they depending on how well they do, could end up with like almost a full year credit hours in college stuff, which is
Wow.
great.
They're
Again,
lucky
schools
to have
are-
calculus.
Cool.
My son
it's-
is going to be
it's-
9 tomorrow. And like you
Amazing.
mentioned, his career target right now is YouTuber because that's what he's
Yep.
watching, Minecraft and YouTubers and
Let's
stuff.
go.
Lucky for me, he's got a backup plan. He wants to work at the Buffalo Wild Wings near ASU
Hell
in
yes.
Tempe, Arizona. That
Hell
is
yes.
his
Okay, this is
backup
great.
dream.
Oh,
This
I
is
love
great.
beat-ups though.
Those are the two best careers you could have. Server at
The
Buffalo
perfect
Wild
call.
Wings or YouTuber. That's
He doesn't
Yeah.
say
all it's
server, cook, or whatever. He just wants to
Manager.
work there.
He
I
just
don't
wants to
know.
be around.
Doesn't matter.
wings. He
Bus
likes
boy,
wings.
it's fine.
Yeah, his favorite food are buffalo wings,
Oh,
and he likes
hell
theirs
yeah.
because he can get normal buffalo wings and the salt and vinegar rub, and that he likes those. That's
There's
his
a
second.
salt and vinegar rub.
Yeah, and
I
it's
have not
good.
tried this.
It's good.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'll
if
have
you
to try
like
it.
salt and vinegar chips or whatever fries, oh yeah, it's good. It hits.
I don't like rub wings. I want it to be saucy, personally. I think
Oh,
it's
no.
when it's
I-
dry. I'm
I think
not
that says something about you as a person.
that it needs to be saucy.
Yeah,
I like
he-
it wet.
he
I don't
doesn't
need
like
these
a
dried
rub.
apricots.
He doesn't like
Give
a
me the
rub.
wet apricot.
He wants
I'm
wet,
a
no rub.
saucy wing kind of guy myself. I can't do any of that.
I prefer dry rub, but mostly because I think there's so much calories in the sauce that it just makes me puts me off the wings.
But that's
Um,
what's the good part.
Hey, I understand, but it's a whole
Yeah,
thing.
you're-
The other thing is you've got to like, just so we can all make sure we're on the same page, you got to have one tentacle that is the wing hand, and the other hand you might tie it behind your back. Don't touch anything. It is the clean hand, and don't get shit on it. Sorry.
Don't rub your eyes. I've watched
yeah.
Hot Ones. We know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the number
you
one
can't- don't-
rule in Hot Ones is don't touch your eyes.
Don't touch your eyes.
Don't touch your eyes.
That's right.
So, okay. So you mentioned the caloric count on things. So I do want to circle back to a little bit of your fitness journey here. Is just not contributing to Ember as much what I can do to get fit?
No, I mean, so this is part and parcel and related to the open source part too, right? Like, I think I let that consume me, and then I consumed everything under the sun. But I at my highest, I was almost 400 pounds, and like it was just not healthy, and like it was difficult to see rationally why that was, why it was like that. But I think a big part of it was working 80 hours a week or more, on not always open source, but like I had a 40-hour a week job, and then I did all this open source, and I internalized like this guilt that wasn't fair. No one put it on me, but I internalized this guilt about like, oh, there's someone's got a problem right now, and I could help them. And like, I'm not a doctor. Like, I'm not a nurse. Like, that's where you should, that's an appropriate mental model in that world, I think. But here it's just like software on the internet with some people. But you build up friendships, you build up camaraderies and stuff, and then you feel like you want to help them.
Aren't you?
Yeah, I think that's the default
same
for
one.
me. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I really had to pull back hard. And I'd had a bit of a health scare. I had a thing in my neck, and I lost feeling in my whole right arm and side and stuff for like pinched nerve kind of deal, right? But they couldn't fit me in the MRI machine, right? So like I couldn't actually. Anyways, it was like, wow, this is maybe out of control. And so a combination of things, not being able to feel your hand means it's really hard to type. So it's one of those things where I sort of was forced to pull back a little bit. And then when I did, I realized how relieved I felt, partially because I had an excuse I felt like I had an excuse for the people pleasing part and the guilt. I literally can't. Everyone understands. No one thought I was doing anything wrong or anything like that. And that felt good, or made it feel okay. To pull back and sort of focus on me a little bit more. I think it's tough. It's a tough balance. And if you've got one of those, I'm going to say addictive personalities where you get your mindset on a thing and that's the only thing you can think about, which I think is a lot of software developers, it becomes very easy to fall into the trap.
Yes. So how do you reverse that and get addicted to being fit instead? Because I'm looking for advice.
I mean, I think I have a long way to go. I'm certainly at a pinnacle and I'm not an Instagram model here or anything. But I think the thing for me was I figured out I still, this has been 6 years or something now. I still count calories every day. Weigh my food. I do all that stuff. Now that is for sure obsessive compulsive, and that is for sure some people would categorize that as an unhealthy relationship with food. But also I'm not going back.
Yeah.
You know, my dad died at 50. My kids were only 2 years old then. Like, I want to see my grandkids, right?
Yeah.
And
That's tough.
I'm 45, so like that deadline's coming up. If I'm gonna make it past there, those are the things I keep in my mind. Anyways, the things that I did physically was like when I started, I couldn't exercise. Like literally any exercise was just injuring me more. Because I weighed so much. Like even walking was putting damage on my ankles and knees. And you know, so it was all diet, 100% diet. And the answer was at that size, just don't eat so much. Like it actually is that simple. Like when you're that big, you certainly are not in that category. But it just straight up, hey, maybe go to McDonald's and don't get a 20 piece and 2 cheeseburgers and a large fry. Maybe don't do that.
Sounds so
you
good,
know?
though.
I know it is delicious. And don't forget the honey for the nuggets. You know, you got to have the honey, you know? So, I mean, I think that's how I started. After I lost the first 100 pounds, then I started exercising quite a lot. But before that, it was just too much on my ankles and knees and whatnot to do even, you know, body weight squats or like simple things. Was very painful in the joints. So
You said
know.
you said that counting calories. Some people might think of that as an unhealthy relationship with food. I hope that thought doesn't creep into your head too much, because doing that in order to be healthy, like so that you can be there for your kids as they grow up and all of that, is like the healthiest mindset you could possibly have. So
Yep.
I would not consider that unhealthy at all. I would consider that the healthiest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah. and
Yeah, no, I
it-
think good.
I was gonna say, I think ignoring the amount of calories like I do now is also not healthy.
You don't say.
You need
Well,
to like
I-
have some sort of concept of what you're eating.
I think there's a balance though. So I'm not going to do this. I'm in the bucket I'm in. I'm happy with where I'm at. I don't obsess about going over my budget every day. I do care about like preferring not to, but like, you know, my birthday's tomorrow, me and your son. And
wow.
like it's one of those, I'm gonna have cake. I'm not gonna worry too much about going out and have a big steak. Like that's fine. That all comes out in the wash. The thing that I think might be really powerful though is use an app. I hate MyFitnessPal, but it's free. I prefer like MacroFactor personally, but it doesn't matter what app you use or no app. Just look at the labels on stuff and write it down for a day or two or a couple of weeks and get an idea of where you're at. And also, this is going to bother other people, but like weigh yourself and know whether over that span of time you went up or down or stayed level. Those two things tell you what you need to do. That's it, like full stop. That it is science. People don't like science, but it is science. And there's a whole lot of factors that have to do with expenditure. It's complicated. The body's like, it's a bag of chemicals and weird biological crap, but it is a you know, taking a measurement and comparing it over time is totally a thing that will work. And anyways, I think logging for getting a mental model of, oh, I logged for a couple of weeks and turns out I was eating 3,000, 4,000 calories, whatever the number is. It doesn't matter what the number is. And over that time, I gained half a pound, or I was flat, or whatever. Now you either know basically what your maintenance is. Like you know what you need to eat to stay level, and if you want to go down, go a little bit less than that. Also, you have an idea of this is the thing. This is the thing that really is mind-boggling. Like a thing that is marketed as health food, oftentimes are crazy amounts of calories. Like little tiny like nut snacks or something might be 300 calories for a bag of nuts. Like it's just, you don't think about the density of food. And it's great having five almonds or something is an awesome little snack. Like that's great, but no one thinks of 5 almonds as a snack. 5 almonds is the precursor to the snack, or just the first bite of the snack.
Yeah, I need 50 almonds. Yeah, that is true. But you know, it's a give and take, because like almonds are healthy, you know, on paper, but like yeah, you can have.
Oh, I'm not anti-almond. I love almonds.
Anything. Yeah,
too much.
Yeah,
moderation.
like a calorie isn't a calorie until it is, to a degree, right? Like sure, I can have a snack of 300 calories of almonds or 300 calories of mayonnaise. My body's going to deal with those two things differently. But
straight
but if you're eating a mayonnaise snack, you probably have other problems anyway, right? Like so, both are
Yes,
true.
mayonnaise.
Yes.
You know, it's a
Yes,
very
yes.
interesting thing too.
Yeah, I think
Sponsored
the
by
only
Dukes.
the only caveat. Oh, Duke's is so good. The only caveat there is that I think there are health conditions you can have, like diabetics and pre-diabetics and stuff like that, where not carbs are not the devil, but that can be a problem for you if you're not careful. If you know, but it's all in moderation. It's understanding how to relate to things. But personally, like the things that I find very helpful to deal with hunger and whatnot are like just have half the plate be vegetables. I love vegetables now. I didn't before. And have the a quarter, a third of the plate be the protein source, preferably something lean. But like steak's fine. But chicken, pork, that kind of stuff is great. Fish is also good. And and then a starch if you want starch. Like depends on what you want with the rest. But like basically load up on veggies because they're not free. Nothing's free. But like
They're
basically,
so low calorie.
You could eat your
It's
body
like-
weight in broccoli and be okay.
yeah.
Like,
Now don't smother the broccoli with butter and cheese because you've ruined it for yourself. But that was the thing also for me. Like everything got smothered in a sauce, and because that's what you do.
Yeah, but sauces aren't free,
but
and that's the misnomer.
Yeah, yeah.
right
Correct.
there.
It's
Correct.
not
And that's why with the wings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the drink. Guess what? This
Oh,
is
yeah.
also not
Yep.
free.
Yes, I already logged 4 ounces of whiskey. So
What was the
that-
calories on 4 ounces? Just
More
curious.
than you want to know, probably.
I will tell you.
Well, this episode is brought to you by Anthropic
MyFitnessPal.
because you can create a Claude project and give it instructions and send it photos, and it'll do caloric
Does it really?
estimations. Yeah.
Ooh, how
Yeah,
close
again,
is it
it's
to
actually
accurate?
quite good. Yeah, it's actually
Wow.
quite good.
Interesting.
So
There you
I did 3 jiggers, which is actually more than 4. So it's
Giga what?
Jigga.
it's like 1.5 fluid ounces each. Right.
That's
So
Oh, I'm glad I got
so
someone
it's
else to
4.5.
say Giga because that is right in the line, brother. Right in the line.
that's that is 289 calories. So
That's,
That's-
not too bad.
that's not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just
it's not
alcohol,
zero,
right?
But you
So-
should
Yeah.
you should
Completely empty, though.
consider it though.
It's
you know?
better than
Yeah,
like
so-
the calories in 8 beers, which is like the same amount of alcohol. So
yeah, for sure. Well, or any mixed drink. Mixed drinks are like, I mean, I love myself in my time. Oh man, but it's like a crazy amount of calories for one. Right?
Yeah, because
And-
Plus
it's like
sugar.
3 ounces of rum mixed up
It-
in some
and a whole
fruit
bunch of juice.
juices. Yeah, a
Yes.
bunch of juice, but they're
probably
so
high fructose
good.
corn syrup.
Ironically,
I love it so
like
much.
highly encouraged in Hawaii, where you should not take your shirt off if you're wearing this or you're drinking that a lot, right? Yeah, that's the funny part about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they are
Okay.
amazing.
So we've talked about a lot. We're probably over time. Is there anything you would like to plug or things we forgot to talk about that you'd like to mention before we end?
LinkedIn.com.
no, I think we did good.
Put your real self out there.
Nope. I think we're good. I think we did a good range of good range of stuff.
All right, cool. Typecraft, anything you want to say? Sponsored by Framework Laptops.
Sponsored by DHH. Please let me race your car.
All right, I
Yeah,
quit.
no money, just we get to drive your car. All right,
Yeah.
Chuck's done. He's gonna go hit the stop button for us, I think.
Hell yeah.
Boo doop boo doop boop. Boo doop boo doop.